Welcome to another awesome episode of Movie Guys Podcast. I am Jordan, joined here with Eric and Ed, like always. And tonight we are doing part 2 of our Moon franchise, I guess you would call it. The ever so wonderful ripoff of Blade Runner, Mute, directed by Duncan Jones. So, Eric, do you agree with me? Is this a plain ripoff of Blade Runner?
This is a part of the Duncan Jones-averse, right? Where it's in the world of Moon, yeah, I guess there's definitely a cyberpunk feel, a lot of androids and tech kind of floating around. The glow would suggest Blade Runner-esque. It really seemed like a lot of shots were influenced by that world, but I don't know. Ed, what do you think?
Excuse me. Well, other than the stripper robot strippers, I wouldn't call it necessarily a ripoff of Blade Runner because personally, I actually made it through this movie at the first try and didn't fall asleep and didn't hate it. So I can't say it's a ripoff of Blade Runner because those are the three things that would imply Blade Runner to me.
Yeah.
So, but I mean.
I guess it depends on if those stripper androids dream of Electric Sheep.
Oh!
There you go.
Got the reference. I'm usually the one with the bad puns, but I'm proud of you on that one, pal.
Oh, thank you.
That was a good one. That was really impressive. No, so you just called it the Duncan Jones verse, and I kind of want to add something to that, and I think we're just going to establish it here for Movie Guys Podcast. So we're going to do a hashtag, hashtag DJverse, because that's exactly what this is, right?
Sure.
Hashtag DJverse, because he's going to make part 3. I went on his Twitter page because evidently he's promoting the shit out of this on his Twitter page. I went to it and let him know that we were reviewing his movie.
It is getting a lot of bad reviews. A lot. I've read a few of the forums and people just really hating on this movie.
Oh yeah, 13%.
I don't understand that. I really don't.
Well, I can see it.
I can see it too, but you know what? I have a few words to say for them. By God, by golly.
Yeah, go fuck yourselves, you pretentious sons of bitches.
Jeez.
I wouldn't say that. Well, sure, if you want. There are parts of the movie.
Well, no, I mean, am I trying to say that this is the greatest movie of all time? Absolutely not. But like at the same time, I mean, it's a Netflix sci-fi film set in a universe that we didn't realize it was set in, unless we'd watched, or anybody had seen Moon. Like it's not a key player in the movie, but it's a key undertone. Like a couple of different times is Sam, whatever the fuck, Sam Rockwell's character in Moon is he's on trial / suing the real company or whatever that's behind the whole thing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Suing,
I mean,
yeah.
Okay, I mean, listen, maybe
Tyrell.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Maybe some people like where I live, and there's a large Amish community. So like this movie kind of sort of makes sense to me. Like they're living in a world beyond what their world is. It's really hard to not interact with everyday life, and in that world, being Amish would be even harder to do. And the guy just it's fucking Jack Reacher if he were Amish and in the future.
Yeah. You know, I like that aspect of it, but the bigger part of this was the characters. A lot of people just didn't like or understand a lot of the characters. Ideally, you would have something where everything really worked together, but people just didn't seem to think that Paul Rudd Cactus, his character, and who is this, Thoreau, Justin Thoreau's character, just didn't, that they were quite out of place, that they were, Duck is his name, so Cactus and Duck, that they were just, I said it right there. They didn't really fit into it, or they just seemed really unnecessary, or they went to levels where it was just like extremes, like just big ups and then kind of without any explanation. So there was a lot to it.
Well,
I think people didn't like them.
I mean,
Well, here's the
I
thing.
can
I'm
tell you, I
gonna.
had a hard time personally with Duck only because the dude's a fucking child molester. That was hard. But like to say the characters are out of place. I mean, Paul Rudd doesn't play a good bad guy. Like he's just too funny. But he played a really good white trash redneck, which is what that character was. I mean, the guy was a military guy that just fell in love with a stripper. And as T-Pain can tell you, it's hard to fall in love with a stripper.
Yeah.
So
Well, okay,
he had a
so
kid.
okay, hold on now. Time out here. On that note, I'm going to 100% back Eric on this because the reason why that Duck and Cactus feel out of place is because those two are so good and they're not needed in this movie. It's like Duncan Jones is like, I have an idea. I love Blade Runner because I'm pretentious for some reason, and I have no reason to love Blade Runner, but I'm going to rip it off.
He's David Bowie's kid. Of course he's pretentious.
And then halfway through the movie, he goes, wait a minute, I'm stealing too much of Blade Runner, so I'm going to make these characters, Cactus Bill and Duck, come in and completely just change the tone of the movie in a way. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but Paul Rudd was my favorite part of the movie. I thought he did a good job for what he was given. I actually thoroughly enjoyed him in this. He's the best actor in the movie.
To be quite honest with the actors are I have no complaints with. I thought all parts were well acted, and I thought the world was pretty cool. I liked it too, but it was not the characters themselves, Cactus and Duck, but their development. I did not like
Yeah.
at all because we already had a clear point of who they were and what their origin was in a matter of two scenes and some filler out of that because it built some mysterious background to it too. That there was this a crisis, not necessarily a crisis, but there's a part of military going AWOL, right?
Yeah.
Like for some reason, like there's just if they're I don't know if they're reported for active duty or if they need it for something else, but they just go AWOL and then they try to go off grid, which is what these characters are doing. So that's interesting. Why? You want to know why. You're never gonna get these answers, but why?
No.
These characters seem to be like they have a bond, obviously, and there's a brotherhood because of that. And you can safely assume is because of the shy comments they make to the military. Like,
Yeah.
these two probably that. But then they also do comments that are just like, are they gay? I don't know. But either way, it's still expressed in that part that they are close. So that should be it right there. Don't go any more into the darkness because it's too extreme for these characters. We're introduced to them as in a good way where they're bonding over some criminal shit as mafia surgeons. But at the end of the movie, we have these different ass fucking villainous characters where they do some weird shit. They didn't need to go that far to be villainous. They didn't need to be that destructive to be and that's what the complaint about this and what took away from the movie is because am I supposed to be watching Skarsgård playing Leo or am I supposed to be watching these two guys fuck around doing some surgery shit, So
And
You know what it is?
while
It's like
the pacing was
it's
off.
like it's like my point real quick, Ed. I'll shut up. You actually hit it right, Eric. This movie is like a really bad version of Pulp Fiction. It's like it tells different stories, not really, but I'm getting at. It tells different stories, and then it doesn't collide good. It's like it's not in their characters to act like this. It's so frustrating. But Ed, go ahead. What was your point?
I'm dodging
while
spoilers.
while I will agree that maybe there's some different shit that they get into, the whole movie revolves around, in my opinion, is Paul Rudd's character Cactus trying to save his kid because he's got a love for his little daughter.
Yeah.
And when he finds out what his best friend is, his thing about little like protecting little kids is now, protecting his daughter has now evolved into all little kids. Like if the three of us, or not, let's not even involve the three of us.
Yeah.
If one of us had a friend, our best friend that we found out was involved in something that was really fucked up, I'm not saying I wouldn't report them, but like at the same time, I would first go to them and be like, "You're fucking done doing that shit. That is not cool." So my point to that is, you needed to Paul Rudd's we're used to movies that have an anti-hero, a resistant good guy. This movie, like, Paul Rudd's the anti-bad guy. He doesn't mean to be a bad guy. He's just a guy he's a night owl. He's a bar hound. He likes to go to strip clubs and brothels, which ethically isn't the best thing to be in the world. I won't disagree, but some people are like that. And he has a kid. He loves his daughter. He finds out his daughter's going to be taken away, and he becomes more involved in that. And I think his character's evolved. His character goes from being a really bad guy to you feel empathetic towards him at the end.
A lot of people, and I guess I'll start getting into spoilers a little bit, but there was a part when Cactus, Paul Rudd's character, really confronted Justin Theroux and pinned him up against the wall. You guys know what I'm talking about, where he was just like, "You're gonna stop this shit, blah blah blah," because fucking, and really gets into his shit to saying, "Stop doing this kid shit, man." But then almost seamlessly in the same scene was just like, "Okay, well, do you want to go get a beer?" And listen, I understand what Duncan Jones, I guess, was trying to do there. It's the companionship that they have built up is in now the denial of Cactus of Paul Rudd, where he's just like, "Hey, listen, you're my best friend, you're more of that, you're my brother, and whatever the hell it is, fuck you for doing all this. I don't want to admit this, but stop it. All right, now let's just kind of pretend like we're going back to normal here." But they could have done that just a bit more. I guess the transition could have been a little bit more cleaner rather than it just being in the same scene where he throws him up against the wall. "Stop doing that to kids," and then throws down, takes a deep breath, and goes, "Okay, let's go get something to eat."
Yeah, I mean, I guess I agree with that. I guess I could agree with that.
That's a big complaint that I saw there too, and just their relationship seemed to question a lot of people as a whole. I got what they were trying to go for. I'm not saying that other people didn't, but I'm pretty sure people saw that we all saw, and it was just interpreted differently. So,
yeah,
those are very valid points. If I may change it up just a second again, I do really, really want to talk about the cinematography in the film and how I really do feel that this is a ripoff of Blade Runner. And if I may, just for a second, you can honor something and do little hints or little Easter eggs if you want to honor something. Duncan Jones has claimed that he's honoring one of his favorite films of all time, Blade Runner. It's on his Twitter account. However, though, if you watch Blade Runner or Blade Runner 2049, and then you watch this movie right after, this is borderline theft. I mean, down to the damn near screws in the buildings. This is theft. Just the music, the cinematography, the style, just everything screams Blade Runner. And he does it in a way that is not entertaining. He does it in a way that just, guys, seriously, the reason why that I am on this rant about it is because instantly that's what turned me off in the movie. I was not invested when I realized in the first 10 minutes, oh, this is a ripoff of Blade Runner. I'm not interested anymore. I mean, that is my interpretation of it. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because it's just complete theft. Now, Ed, I know what you're saying about how, well, this movie did the one thing that Blade Runner didn't, which is it entertained me and I didn't fall asleep, blah, blah, blah. But Blade Runner is just a different kind of film. I mean, I can't sit through 2001: Space Odyssey.
Well,
but I respect the fuck out of it.
Well, and here's what I will say, not necessarily in defense of myself, but I can't necessarily argue in favor of or against what you're saying because I've never legitimately made it all the way through Blade Runner. So I can't even say without any kind of level of certainty whether or not it is a ripoff because I've only watched the series in pieces. Like, I know the movie's 2 hours long, but it's taken me 4 attempts to watch it.
This had brighter lights in this movie.
Yeah. That probably is why I didn't fall asleep.
It helps
Probably.
where it's prettier to look at.
It is. It's not so
Yeah.
it's not so Art Deco grimy. But Ed, I'm gonna save this part for you, buddy, because you were talking about before. Tell us how you feel about the robot strippers.
As somebody who may or may not in the past have frequented such establishments, I can say that from stories that I've heard from friends who do frequent those, that would be something that is an abomination to nature.
Really?
You
You
know,
didn't like
they
that
tell
idea?
they tell me now. I've never been, but
No, of course
my
not.
friends tell me that you go there for a certain reason. You know, like you go to an Apple store to buy an Apple product, right? You go to a grocery store to buy groceries. You don't go to a grocery store to buy an iPhone. So why would you go to such establishments to watch non-human, and maybe this 100 years from now will be considered bigoted, but why do we not you would go to those establishments to see those things? Not robot titties. Like nobody wants to see robot titties. They're not real. Like
Okay,
that is
that's his rant.
that
That is your rant. Okay. I was just complaining the fact that they had little old 1980s security cameras for heads, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, you think they would have been better with that, but whatever, man.
he,
Different
he
strokes.
obviously spent all his money on robot titties. He couldn't afford
No.
another one. And
Now, Eric-
in a 75 Rolls Royce.
I'm not gonna fat shame, man. If you're into
Now,
that sort
Eric,
of thing.
That's the reason why I wanted to
It's
ask
bot
Ed his
shaming.
opinion
It's bot
about
shaming. Let's be clear.
it. Because the reason why, Eric, I wanted to ask Ed about this, and I want to get your 2 cents on it too. That's another reason why I think that this movie is critically panned, and why I'm kind of bashing it on my end here, Eric, is because it is so unfocused. Why is there a need to have? If you want to rip off Blade Runner, fine, whatever. If you want to have it in a strip club, fine, whatever. But hey, guys, we're in the future, so there's going to be zombie. So there's going to be robot strippers, right? I mean, like, it's just so.
Oh no, I get you.
You know what I mean?
There's there's definitely a few parts of this movie that are I guess try hard or it reaches, and I definitely agree to that. And it doesn't, this
It's
movie
unfocused.
it hurts itself because of it. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot going on that tries to fit in. A lot of technologies to really you're just like, well, wait a second. If this exists, then why wouldn't if all this technology exists, then is cutting them open with just knives still even a thing? Like, couldn't you,
Yeah.
like it doesn't that doesn't your medical technology change as well too? Is it just limited to the security in your buildings, in your cars? Is that all that it is? But I mean, all that shit is fueled by the moon, so.
I will agree to that point. Like, it's one of those things that him probably knowing what he's gonna write and talking about how you have meals delivered to your house and phone number and shit, like that stuff, like that one begats another, right? So all of those things would, and there are sex bots now, unfortunately, that people build and sell for probably a substantial amount of money. That maybe that's the next iteration is stripper bots.
Maybe, but again, though, that's my point. Though it's just because it's unfocused, and it's really hoping that you understand what I'm saying.
Jordan wants a stripper robot movie.
If you're gonna do a stripper robot movie, then tell me about a stripper robot movie. I don't care what movie you make. Just tell me a focused, cohesive story.
What would you call it,
ABC
man?
plot.
Stripped wires.
Robot strippers. Oh.
Yes.
God,
wow, you nailed it.
You're all about
Totally
the puns right now.
Oh my God, that just came to me.
Strip wires, and the main girl literally does have a heart of gold, and she's trying to get out of it. But during the day, instead of working in a welding shop,
a heart of iridium.
there you go. But during the day, instead of working at a welder shop like Flashdance, she works in the robot stripper factory building more robots.
Geez, that seems like a
she
horrible irony.
She needs some extra lube. She needs some extra lube, so she needs to go get more motor oil.
That's how it is. See, that's how this movie's ridiculous, fellas. Is that we're sitting here and we just came up with a plot that could probably be made in Hollywood right now because it's just that terrible.
Well, good luck to this guy getting funding for the next one. The last few movies that he's helped write and direct have not done too well. So it was this one and Warcraft.
Well, his dad's dead now. His dad's dead now, so they don't have to give him money.
Jeez. I actually am a Bowie guy, so all right.
So I love David Bowie. I'm just saying that that's probably how he got money, and he did really good with Moon. Like Moon was a really good movie, and then somebody's like, okay, so that's really well done. Let's see what we can do. And they're like, wait a minute, that's what you gave us? Although I like this movie personally. I like this movie. I'm just saying, like, I can see all your points.
But see, that's the thing, though. I think that's the argument, is that how can you like this? I mean, the only thing it has referencing is a lawsuit going on with Moon, which to me is just an Easter egg shoehorned in there that doesn't make. There's no reason, guys, to have that Moon reference in this. There really is no reason.
Well, it gave Easter eggs for other things too. So like the entire time you could tell that it was like their main. It's just a part of the world. He's just painting an environment. That everything is being fueled by the moon. Everything is like the gas station, the lunar fueling stations or whatever. So that this could reach a jeopardy because obviously now the person who was on the moon is now having a lawsuit in the world. So this could be something, I don't know. And this movie ends with a Amish person not believing in any sort of technology. Now is one with technology as it lives in his throat.
Right, it lives in his throat. He now can talk. It's like, it's so, especially when on the bridge at the end.
We didn't even talk about this guy Leo, the main character, who's an Amish guy who's mute the entire movie, which is why it's called mute. And you can't talk the entire movie because of that interesting premise where he was in an accident as a kid, but instead of the doctors performing any sort of reconstructive surgery on him, the Amish people just said, no, just take him home and we'll pray for him well. And the doctors were like, well...
Which is legit. Yeah. That's legit, bro. Just throwing that out there. Like, they do that.
And then the doctor's like, well, if you don't do it now, then, he might never fucking talk. He's going to have some shit. And the Amish are just like, nah, well, don't worry. Our God's got this. So, and that was the entire movie. Is this guy can't talk. He's Amish, and he's in the future. He's in a world where there's nothing but tech around him, and you get those subtle little pieces where he doesn't have a phone, he doesn't know how to work a phone, or when a prompt comes up, he doesn't know how to say anything to it. Or just like you had said, in the coffee shop, he had his back turned to the TV. Kind of things, little nuance like that, which are fun details. I liked his story, and we didn't get enough of it.
No, yeah, he's the main character. We don't even follow him. I mean, yes, we do follow him.
We followed him the whole movie. We just hadn't talked about him during the review.
Because that's to show you just how important his character really was, which is non-important. Look, throw out the whole Amish thing in the beginning. Throw out all of that. This is this guy who can't talk. Why can't he just be a normal guy who just gets thrown into an obscure situation?
Him being Amish is of the utmost import to the rest of the story. Like, he lives in a world where food is delivered when you text something, right? So, like, which is where we're going. Let's be honest. Like, that kind of shit's going to happen. Something similar. The three of us won't live to see it, but, it's going to be there.
McDonald's already delivers.
McDowell's delivers.
No, McDonald's delivers. Does it not for you guys? Sorry to interrupt with this.
I thought you were making a Coming to America joke just
now. No, McDonald's over here delivers now.
Yeah,
what?
It's in Detroit.
There's a dude in town who started a company that's basically the Uber Eats of where I live, and he's killing it. He's the only one that does it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Nobody drives for Uber here or Lyft or anything like that.
So yeah.
But anyway, my point to him being Amish this is why this is important, is because like he's supposed to be this reserved. I don't want to call him backwards because he's not backwards. He's just himself in a world that doesn't belong to him. and he falls in love with a girl that he doesn't know is a prostitute or a stripper or whatever she is. He doesn't know that she is that. And he slowly, over the course of time, discovers who she is, discovers how he can find her, and all of this. And everybody's making fun of him. Nobody believes in him. Her roommate, the homosexual hooker, right? He doesn't believe in him. Like, he makes fun of him every time he sees him. And there's the only characters to me in this movie that are ancillary are the ones like the wannabe sort of gangsters, like the guy who tries to rape his girlfriend in the bar, and his friend. Those two people. Those are the only two characters that are ancillary. Like, and I empathized with Leo the whole movie. Like, I sometimes, throughout the film, I'm like, if you could just say what you wanted to say, your world would be so much easier. But he can't do it. I empathized with him. He was just in love with a woman that he found out was something that is against who he is, and still tried to find her, still tried to save her. And when he finally found her, he made the guy suffer the thing that he's been suffering from his whole life.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So, yeah, we haven't really talked about him, but that character does a complete 180 throughout the whole film. Yeah, I mean, there's some bullshit in the middle, but, like, that was a well-developed character. I have no problems with developing this guy. None.
All right.
None whatsoever.
All right. I mean, I'm going to respectfully, decline on that one, pal. But no, yeah.
That's fine.
cannot.
That's what this show's about. We want to talk about it. We want to disagree. We want to debate. That's why we have this show.
You are an asshole, sir. You need to agree with me.
As some movie podcasts would say.
Jeez. Well, Eric, do you have anything you want to say before we get into our final overall worth it review?
I think I just done about said everything.
Okay, well then, Eric, is Mute worth it or not worth it?
When I go back through it, it's a tough call because there are a lot of pluses and minuses. This movie is getting a lot of bad reviews, and I think it's just because of what I mentioned before. But I like the world that it paints. I like the future that we have. I mean, for the most part, I like the Leo character and what was going on there. There are pluses in this movie. It's definitely something to have on in the background. It's a Netflix movie, guys. So, chill the fuck out. Is it worth it? If you're big into sci-fi and you liked Moon, I'd say yeah, sure, yeah, it's worth it. For the layman, for the casual, no, probably not. It gets kind of weird and standalone-ish. Maybe something around in the background, but that is basically what it is. I'm on the fence on saying if it's worth it or not, and that's just kind of what it is. If you would already know if you're into this movie or not.
Valid. All right. Ed, is Mute worth it or not worth it?
So I'm going to break the fourth wall here and let people know that legitimately what we do for this show is we get drunk, we watch a movie, we get into character, and then we talk about the movie as our characters, right? So, but this whole episode, I've been myself. Like, I watched this movie sober. I didn't get drunk and watch it. I'm sitting here sober talking about the movie. Hey,
wait a minute.
Do not agree. I'm sorry, I'm fired. No, so I don't agree with any of the critiques, or excuse me, critiques. That's maybe I am drunk. Any of the critics that are talking about how this movie's terrible. They're what they are people who don't fucking watch movies, other than for the fact that they want to put on a Google review. Like, they're the people that they waited 5 extra minutes at the restaurant and gave the waitress a penny tip when it was like it was her fault. That's bullshit. This movie was really fucking good. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie ever, but like each individual character, with the exception of the lady who died, had a brilliant arc, in my opinion. I mean, overall, when you add everything together, is the movie as good as Moon, even though it's set in that world? No. But Leo had a great development. Duck, he was the same person, but even though he was a piece of shit, he was a terrible person, and he deserves to be burned in hell for all eternity for what he was. You know, he had a good storyline. And Cactus, like Cactus wasn't he wasn't a bad guy. He was just a guy that was into devious stuff.
He was a short
that had
fuse
a
to get
daughter.
in over his head, you know.
Right, that's it. He got in over his head, and he was devious, sure, but he loved his daughter, and his only goal was to protect his daughter from being taken from him. Now that ended up involving Leo, which ended up in creating the story for the movie, and I understand it. That's what drives film. That's what drives storytelling. Is this movie fucking The Godfather? No, but it was absolutely worth it to me. I thoroughly enjoyed watching every second of this movie, and I even in our Facebook Messenger group that we have between the three of us, I told you guys that this movie was really good the moment it ended.
Oh,
so, yeah, absolutely. I thoroughly enjoyed every second of this movie, not from a critic's point of view, but from a pure film enjoyment. Like, I enjoyed it. I loved watching it.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's worth it.
So I think the problem here is Duncan Jones. I don't think that he knows. I think that he does not know what he's doing yet. He clearly loves sci-fi films, and he clearly is ripping off of classics like Alien and Blade Runner, but he has not found his voice yet, and I don't think he ever will find his voice. He is the problem of this movie. I thought the acting was fairly decent. I thought the cinematography was really great. Thank you for bringing me back to Blade Runner. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
However, though, I think the issue is Duncan Jones. He's only a director because of who his daddy is. I mean, I'm just calling it out the way I believe it is. And he's not doing anything great to the material. Great sci-fi movies take something that you know, and they build upon what you know already. Like Alien, like Blade Runner, they take something that you know, and they do something different with it. And he's just remaking something that I've already seen before 1,000 times, and it turned me off. So I do not think that this movie is worth it at all. And Eric made a statement that this is a Netflix production. The reason why I'm going to disagree with that comment is Netflix has given us a lot of great content. They've given us House of Cards, they've given us Stranger Things, they've given us all these Marvel shows. They know how to make good stuff. So just because it's Netflix, I don't have, a biased opinion on it. I just wish that they, would turn around and give us something good.
Yeah, Netflix made bad stuff too.
They have. I have not seen Cloverfield Paradox yet, but I want to see that. So.
Okay,
but anyways, overall.
Go ahead. Finish your review, and I want to rebut afterwards.
No, that's it. Go ahead, pal.
Okay, so I just want to disagree with you about Duncan Jones, and here's why. So he's not Francis Ford Coppola. He's not, I'm not saying he's Steven Spielberg. This dude's given us 4 movies. 4. And we've reviewed 3 of them. Moon, Source Code, Warcraft, and Mute.
We did not review
those are the 4 movies that this guy has done. Right?
And
we've reviewed 3 out of the 4. Yeah. I watched Source Code. I fucking loved Source Code. Again, it's not the best movie ever, and like I said, is he great? No, but when you say he's never going to find his voice, he's given us 4 movies, 3 of which we've reviewed, and 3 of which, or excuse me, half of which the other 3 we haven't reviewed Source Code. I thoroughly enjoyed. Well, so I can't. What?
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, well, because you made that observation, congratulations, Duncan Jones, if you're listening to this episode, you have gotten the Movie Guys Podcast Golden Microphone. You are a triple threat review 3 movies. There you go. Golden microphone for Duncan Jones.
I didn't see Warcraft, and I wasn't on the review for Warcraft, but from my remembering of our review after listening to it on Podbean, Eric, you weren't necessarily disappointed in the film in its entirety. You were disappointed from the perspective of somebody who's played Warcraft, right?
You know what?
It wasn't the story of Warcraft.
The weird thing is that this movie, Mute, and Warcraft both have the same kind of complaint from me, is that I enjoy the world that I'm looking at. It looks good. It looks colorful. I mean, I that's what I want to see in a world that's on screen. It looks presentable, kind of fantasy, and I really
Hmm.
liked it.
Hmm.
The only part I think that I've had for both parts, I'm sorry, for both movies, is that the characters oftentimes are jumping too high, or they're doing something out of character that's unrelatable to their development. That's basically it. Sometimes the story will take a big curve. So that's what it is. It's not in the production of the movie. It looks great. It's unfortunate to say because I know that he writes most of them,
Hmm.
or has a hand in doing something like that. But it's just been the character's turn. That's really what my complaint has been for the most part
And
of these movies.
and maybe that will be his calling card. Like the reason I specifically hate Chris Nolan, even though his films are widely revered and loved, excuse me. I hate that fact that he forces characters. He forces character development and he forces storylines. So maybe that will be his thing for you. Like maybe his characters jumping from A to Q and then back to B is going to be his thing. And like I can respect that. I understand your complaint about it.
We'll see how
So
it
I can't
goes.
necessarily disagree.
If he
Yeah.
wanted to make it a lot like Blade Runner, he could have made it to where instead of forcing the two stories between Leo and Cactus going tandem with all that shit, he could have made the world, the environment, to be its own character, much like it does in Blade Runner.
That's a valid point, which he didn't do
Yeah.
in this
He
movie.
took times for his
Well,
pan shots and some tech shots and stuff like that too, but there are parts where in like Blade Runner where the environment is very very interactive and it plays around that where it introduces the glide and the world that the setting that you're in. So there are a few parts like that, but I might be reaching just as much as the characters in the movie are. So
jeez.
All right, Eric,
Well,
I'll let you close the show out, brother. I mean, I'll give you that one. I mean, I can't disagree with you.
well, we hope you guys are not reaching on this point. Keep on reaching for the stars and downloading us. I don't know why I said that, but go with it.
sure.
Uh, keep on keep on the downloads for Movie Guys podcast, everybody. We really do appreciate every single download, and we're just not saying that just to say it. We really do. I mean, just to kind of give my little 2 cents on it, I would watch these movies anyway because I like watching movies. I would talk movies with these guys anyway because we like to talk about movies. But we do the show for you guys, and every download we get is really appreciated. So thank you. And we are going to be back next week for another awesome episode. But make sure to check us out at movieguyspodcast.com, on movieguyspodcast.podbean.com, on Twitter at movieguyspod, Facebook, Movie Guys Podcast, and also on iTunes, search for Movie Guys Podcast. You will find our show. You will find For Your Distraction, Underground Hot Pot, Hey I Like the Game, and Podpast, a part of our Be Real network on the movieguyspodcast.podbean.com. Eric and Ed, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll be back next week for an awesome episode, a special episode next week. So we'll talk to everybody then. Have a good night.